Hey there, time for another Gen X story time. You know what blows my mind nowadays? Ticket prices for concerts. Back in the day, you could go and see the Who or the Stones for the price of a fast food meal. In March, 15 bucks got you a t-shirt or a program. I still have almost all of my concert t-shirts. They're in a box somewhere though, so I can't find them. We didn't realize it at the time, but we were living in the golden age of live music.
Rock concert?
When tickets were cheap, bands were loud, and if you were really determined, you could get backstage fairly easily, even without asking for a wristband. We didn't know about stalking back then, so. When you tell younger people that, they think you're lying. But no, it really was that easy. You just maybe bought your ticket like the week before and you got to see legends. I remember going to see The Who in 1982 and it sounded like the earth was cracking open. It was so loud. It was loud enough to reset your heartbeat. And nobody cared about seating charts. You you bought a ticket with a specific seat listed on it, but when you got there, you just ran down to the front. And after the show, if you hung around by the loading dock long enough, someone's cousin's aunt's roommate who worked security might let you through.
Fans, groupies, whatever.
That was our version of networking. Seeing ELO in 78 was another kind of magic. The, the lights, the sound, that amazing spaceship stage set. It was like Star Wars for music nerds. I could see Jeff Lynne's hair defying gravity from up in the nosebleed section. All the while I was perving over Bev Bevan, the drummer. The tickets for this spectacle, the first time we'd ever seen lasers on a concert stage, I think it was like 16 bucks. 16 bucks to see a orchestra pretending to be musical aliens. And back then we didn't appreciate how affordable it was.
That is so cheap.
Why?
We'd say, "Oh, I'm going to go see the Stones. I paid 20 bucks a piece for floor seats. God, that's expensive." We'd grab a program, a t-shirt, maybe some buttons, and still have enough money left over to grab a burger and get some gas on the way home. Try doing that today. Now, if you want to see your favorite band or performer, you have to remortgage your house. And merch, nowadays, a shirt's like 50 bucks. It's crazy. But back then, we didn't have to think about prices. It was all about the experience. R.E.M. in the early days, I saw them 7 times, I think, all before their drummer left. So this was the early days. I was one of the original members of their fan club. It was like being a part of a secret club. The venues were small, the guitars were jangling, and half the audience looked as if they'd just gotten their English degree. You could wander backstage after the show if you were confident enough. You'd say, "I'm with the band." Half the time, nobody checked. My one and only near groupie experience was at a club after an R.E.M. show. The opening act, a North Carolina band called the DBs, wonderful band, were playing a show at Club Clearview in Dallas. And I was there with 2 of my friends, and I was wearing my pink suede fringed hippie jacket. Mike Mills of R.E.M., the bass player, tried to convince me to accompany him to the men's room. I have some suspicions. So no thanks, Mike. And then there were nights like when me and my pal saw Jason and the Scorchers in a small theater, and it was pure Southern punk chaos. Sweat, rhinestones, twang, and the atmosphere was electric. You didn't watch a show like that, you survived it. My pal and I were at the very front, in front of the stage with, it was a theater setup, so it had tables. And Jason jumped off the stage and danced on our table for a few songs. It was great. He sweated all over me. The whole audience left smiling, covered in sweat, and slightly bruised. There was some moshing going on. We didn't have phones then to record everything, so that's probably why we remember it better. We were there in the moment. The only content was the memory. Your ears rang for 2 days afterwards, and you had memories that lasted for years. But here's the thing, these nights changed us. They gave us a soundtrack to grow up to fall in love to recover from heartbreak to. Every ticket stub is like a little time machine when you look through them. Back then, music wasn't just entertainment, it was identity. It was tribal. You wore your band t-shirts until they were in rags. And if someone recognized the band or the logo, you had an instant friend to talk to. Nowadays, people bond over playlists. We bonded over being there and taking part. Sometimes I think about those concerts I went to. There were loads of them. Especially when I worked at the record store, I got comped on a lot of tickets and I got to see people for free. But you'd go to the show, you'd stand shoulder to shoulder with complete strangers who you knew you had at least one thing in common with. Everybody knew all the lyrics. There was cheap beer. Your ears were ringing. And I think about something that cost literally just a few bucks could be priceless. Things might be different now. More polished, more expensive, more showbiz. But the raw energy, that feeling you get when the lights go down and the crowd roars, that's still the same. Just the circumstances are different. So yeah, we had it good back in the 70s and 80s. Maybe we didn't know how lucky we were, but we lived it. Full volume, no filter, no VIP section required. And you didn't have to take out a bank loan to go to a show. What were your favorite concerts? Were you ever able to get backstage? Tell us all about it in the comments. I'll have some great links for you below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy my content, please consider liking and subscribing. It doesn't cost anything and it helps my channel to grow. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next one.